I'm all these different people. Like I have all these different personas that do different things. That last PAX West was, I think, when Omen eclipsed Tycho in some way.
Well done.
That's when I really started to say that I need to be taking this as seriously as we take the rest of this stuff. Like this needs a seat at the big table.
I remember when I first got in at PA, so almost a year ago, we were just talking about expanding the license and stuff like that. And we wanted to hit multiple avenues.
And so one of the first things we did that was new with Ink, it's always been a podcast or a live show at PAX, as we did a web series that released on YouTube.
Talked about doing the YouTube series we did. We talked about doing more longer form stuff. We talked about doing like a podcast. We talked about doing print, all different media. And Twitch has been a new component of our strategy.
The obvious next place was to take it to Twitch. So what form does Acquisitions Inc. take when it's a stream?
We know we wanted to engage this content more consistently on a week-by-week basis on Twitch and get something out there. And in picking the teams and who would play on it, it was like who was local and also that would be a good fit. Mike and Jerry are a finite resource, so is Pat, so are all the other celebrities and folks we get to play with us, as well as Perkins. There's a lot that goes into doing this at any one given show. Asking that week on week is a big ask.
So in the actual stage game, the live game that Acquisitions Incorporated plays, there is always a question of how do they get set up the way that the adventure starts? Who, made these arrangements? Surely they have other people working for them to take care of all those odds and ends.
The conceit of AI is that it's like a multi-level management corporate satire
thing. It's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, it's a pyramid scheme. And so the idea of franchises has come up in the adventures a lot, where we have franchises in different towns. And I thought it would be cool to have a campaign that just focused on a new franchise with an exclusive right to a specific region. The super elaborate, annoyingly elaborate backstory for Omen Drawn.
It's essentially you're going to make them play your fan fiction.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
It's going to be fan fiction TV, profoundly erotic.
So right away we knew that it couldn't be the Inc. that they're used to saying at a PAX, right, or even with the web series, which got the whole cast together. So it had to be different, and it was Jerry's idea to actually say, all right, why don't we make them some of the lesser known folks? Why don't we make them the interns? Why don't we make them the C team?
They see you bleed, they come like sharks to it.
And I think it's natural that we would get to see some of the interns that have to perform those other tasks. People like Acquisitions Incorporated, and they have been wanting more of it in different venues. And I think they probably wanted for a long time to follow interns and what they get up to. That makes it more exciting for me that we're actually building out and supporting the main storyline.
I can already make illusory things, right? I can make a real thing. It only lasts for an hour, but it's fucking real.
If it's adamantium.
Wow, that's a really good question. How is Jerry going to differ from Chris? I think Chris is very good at that improv, right? He just sets the stage and then the characters go and they work at it and destroy whatever he wrote.
I can't do the things that they do, but I can approach this in my way, and try to tell a story in a different way that I think will be interesting and meaningful to the players that I have.
Table coming through.
I think what Jerry will be able to do is wring out emotion from his players. Mike talks about this often when discussing AI, but I had the pleasure of experiencing Jerry Dungeon Master once, and it brought tears to my eyes. Like, it was an experience unlike anything I'd ever had at the table. I've been playing this game since first fucking grade, and he wrought it out of me.
Like most nerds, I have an incredibly elaborate backstory for my character. And, you know, occasionally you have the opportunity to inflict that backstory on people. And that's basically what the C-Team campaign is about.
Fix that.
Okay, yeah, that's a problem.
Show it to us so we can fix it.
I mean, the C-Team, you look at the name like, oh, is this like not going to be as good or whatever? No, it's going to be AI. It's real AI. It's that particular flavor of D&D, right? Funny, you know, it's all about the characters. What you said earlier about Jerry, it's just another, you know, blank canvas for him to paint his stories on.
It isn't like writing something else, because the truth of the matter is that the players are authoring large parts of it. And so whatever you write has to have wiggle room in it for them to create that place with you.
It's kind of funny because there was that moment when they were going to hell to rescue AFL in Acquisitions Inc. and Chris just threw out there like, oh, it needs a secret, and everyone's, you know, doing their thing, right? And then some funny bits and some good stuff. And Jerry was like, well, I want to make sure I'm the last out, and they all leave, and then he drops that bomb about his sister, right? Like, I had no idea that was coming. I don't think anyone knew that was coming. I don't even know if Jerry knew that was coming. But as soon as he said it, it was true.
You can't 100% write all of it. And there's always sort of a balance there between like how written it is versus how dynamic it is. And it's just every table finds different values for those things.
And now all of a sudden there's this extra layer of Acquisitions Inc. that it's a personal story. It's a story about a family. It's a story about brothers and sisters. So yeah, this is with Jerry behind the screen. Now he has the opportunity to show us that, right? Reveal where this came from, what's going on with the sisters, why did they change, what's the deal with that door, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
It's been a long time since I've been able to carve out that kind of space to do that kind of stuff, and this is an awesome opportunity, I think.
I thought it was really cool when Jerry asked me to do it. I was really honored. I thought it's because it's a big deal. AI is huge. It's funny and everyone loves it. Like you said, everyone loves it. So it's a big deal to be asked.
Initially, Ryan was like, are you interested in doing it? I said, yeah, absolutely. I didn't know that it was going to have the scope that it ended up having.
Jerry likes to, as he's been interviewing and talking about this, he likes to keep saying like, oh, I've never played D&D before. And it's technically accurate, but I've played paper RPGs before. I've played Star Wars RPG. I've played other ones. It's a fun soundbite, but it's not true. That being said, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
The intros is great, and I like having that space and setting up the audience for all that. But as a concession, I put like a self-insert of myself in the backgrounds of a lot of the animations. And his name was Cthulhu Draub. There was a choice that maybe I would not play that character because I wouldn't have named him my name necessarily, but it works. That's my sense of humor anyway, so it's fine.
Fail Hour was helpful. Jerry was helpful. Chris was helpful. Me and Chris have been like collaborating on our characters together. It was Fail Hour's suggestion to have to do a Dragonborn.
First roll, I used Contact Other Plane, which is a very difficult spell. If I succeed, I get to ask 5 questions of an unknown entity. Help us out. If I fail, I go insane.
I think
Plus
so.
8, and then
You guys are pros. Welcome to Acquisitions Inc.
And I did fail. Rolled a 1. It was the right entry for this character.
Said sail back toward the
south to Waterdeep and to potentially some distant land, which we will be visiting at PAX West.
Oh, man.
Acquisitions Incorporated, I've always said, is friends around a table having fun, right? And so we had to find a group that already had those existing relationships. Like we do this with Acquisitions Inc., the live shows too. You don't just like, oh, you're famous, you get to be on stage. It was, well, do you have chemistry, right? Do you know each other actually, and not just because you all showed up to, this event?
Chris is doing it, which is great. This is my buddy. Amy's doing it. I love Amy. I've known Kate for a little bit on and off, like in passing, because she's always, associated and a friend of ours and a friend of the show's. So we've been getting to know each other more as we've been doing more practice games. So like the four of us have gelled pretty well.
We have a cool group. They're super funny people. They have a different flavor to the whole thing. And I think we're likable. I think it's going to be a uniquely flavored Ac Inc. game that will feel as a part and parcel with the greater universe. Yeah, I'm excited to do it.
It is hard being on stage. It's like, and that's what like Jerry, not to be like, oh, I'm so great and funny, but I am great and funny. But it's like, it's one thing to say it in like a passing conversation or amongst a group of a few people. Like when a lights are on you and when people are looking at you, it's hard to be like, you get in your own head, like I better be funny right now. And then when you've got really funny people around you like Mike and Jerry and Chris, it's, oh Jesus Christ, it's hard. And you don't want to, you got to keep up, right? So.
The main thing I'm trying to accomplish with the C team is to play Dungeons and Dragons more often and tell people that I like a story that they are a part of. Like I want to make something that they'll enjoy, right?
Today I am Jerry Holkins, Dungeon Master of the C Team. It is my great pleasure to introduce the players to my right. Ryan Hartman as Dinar Blitzen, which I'm offended. No, that's none of that.
Oh.
You're already in character.
Solemn.
You're already-
Solemn.
No, not yet. It's not time.